My name's Greg Beach. I'm the chairman of Homes of Hope International. We are an organisation that was started by a group of Aussies a few years ago when we saw the incredible needs around the world with orphans and with widows. We didn't know what to do because the problem is so massive. We saw so many children as we visited various countries who were obviously suffering, abandoned, street children. We saw widows begging on the streets and suffering in various impoverished communities. And we were troubled because we thought, well, what can we do? The problem seems so massive. How can we make a difference in the world today? And you may be feeling that as well when you think about the tsunami of global needs. How can you help? How can you respond? It just seems too much. What difference can you make? Well, a group of Aussies got together and formed Homes of Hope International, and we've been working really hard with project partners in developing nations to rescue women and children. When you think about the problem of orphans globally, you'll find that 1 child in 13 is an orphan today. You'll also know that we have 145 million orphans in the world. And if we put all the orphans together, shoulder to shoulder, and made a line of them and put them around the circumference of Australia, they would surround Australia 3 times. So we have an incredible problem with orphans today. And I often think to myself, well, who will really hear the cry of these children? And so Homes of Hope International is making a difference. We are seeking to rescue these children and place them in appropriate homes with our partners in developing countries who will give them the care and the love that they need, who will heal their wounds of abandonment and rejection, who will make sure that they are cared for, that they receive the love they need and the nurture, and will also make sure that they receive education and then vocational training before they leave these transitional homes. We seem to be faced with a tsunami, an avalanche of poverty and needs, and sometimes we can look at what's happening in the world and we can think, what can we do? How do you make a difference? It just seems so big, so massive, the problem of poverty and developmental issues globally. What do we do with orphans? What do we do with impoverished communities and villages? How do we respond, and how can we respond to some of these needs? It just looks like it's too big sometimes. I understand that, and a number of years ago I was traveling to developing nations and I began to really see what was happening, and I also had those sorts of feelings. What can I do? And it's just too much. How can I respond? I don't have a lot of resources. What can I do to make a difference? I got together with a group of other young Aussies who, at that stage, who just wanted to make a difference, and we started to think and plan. And after a few years, we commenced an organisation called Homes of Hope International. And our plan was just to start with 1 or 2 children's homes where we would rescue abandoned children, and working with partners in a developing country, make sure these children were cared for and given education and a future and a hope. And from those days, we've now expanded our operations, and we have a number of projects globally. You may be unaware that 1 child in 13 is an orphan today around the world. Altogether, we have around 145 million orphans. So when we think about a global problem like orphans and the massive numbers of millions of orphans, how do we respond? Homes of Hope International work with developing partners to make sure that some of these children are taken in from the streets, they're taken from various places like hospitals. Sometimes the police will contact us and give us an abandoned child. And we make sure these children are given that future and hope. Homes of Hope has a sponsorship program that you can be involved in. It involves you contributing $39 a month, and that contribution every month helps care for a child. In a residential project, we need 3, sometimes even 4 sponsors to take care of a single child. We're talking about all the costs of education, their costs for clothing, medical, dental, transportation, Everything that a child needs, we have to take care of in these projects. We're also very committed to making sure that that child recovers from the trauma that they've experienced in abandonment and rejection. And so we have programs to help children recover and grow and develop to become mature adults. We're also committed to make sure that every child in our projects receives vocational training, and so that as they transition from a children's home, they're able to be independent and mature adults, earning a living and making a contribution to society. So I want to encourage you to check out our website. It's www.homesofhopeint, that's INT.com. Have a look at our site. You can see many children there who you can sponsor. You can see information about our programs and our projects. But we would love to have you as a sponsor of children. So please check out the site today. But not only that, we also sponsor widows. We have a widow feeding program. And for $15 a month, you can feed a widow. And more recently, we've been involved in helping the victims of human trafficking. And today we have a massive problem with child trafficking, child slavery, child sexual exploitation. And so Homes of Hope are developing projects with our partners in India and Bangladesh, and also we believe in Indonesia in the future we'll be establishing a project to make sure that victims of trafficking who have been rescued are given a future and a hope through a wonderful program that brings healing to their lives, gives them education, and gives them vocational training as well. So you can find out more about that on our website, and I encourage you to visit today. But you know, when you think about all these problems, whether it be the massive number of orphans, or whether it's widows, or whether it's trafficking victims today, don't give up. Don't think, oh, there's nothing I can do. But I encourage you to take some steps. Get onto our website, sponsor a child, sponsor a widow, and you can change the world today.